Hey, what is up guys? I hope you are all safe and healthy. By now, most of you must have read the news that LHDN will be having access to taxpayers' bank details under the new amendment on the tax laws, and that LHDN will no longer have to inform taxpayers when requesting their bank account details from banks for review or investigation, according to proposed amendments to Section 106A of the Income Tax Act. On surface, this sounds like a huge privacy infringement because our banking information is actually confidential and protected by the Personal Data Protection Act 2010, which is a law that protects your personal data from being processed by anyone else without your consent. However, under Section 45 of the PDPA 2010, this law is exempted when it comes to situations where your personal data is required for 1. Prevention or detection of crime or for the purpose of investigations, 2. The apprehension or prosecution of offenders, or 3. The assessment or collection of any tax or duty or any other imposition of a similar nature. Surprise, surprise, this is the tiny loophole that our tax authorities discovered or worked on, depending on how you interpret it, which allows your personal data such as your banking information to be exempted from the protection of the PDPA 2010. If we were to refer to the previous tax regulation, Section 106 Item 1 says that tax due and payable may be recovered by the government by civil proceedings as a debt due to the government. But now the proposed addition to the law has been accepted in the most recent Finance 2021 tabling, and referring to the power to call for bank account information for purpose of making garnishee order application, the new Section 106A law reads as follows. 1. Where civil proceedings have been instituted against a person under Section 106 and a judgment has been obtained against the person, the Director General, which is referring to the LHDN, may by notice under his hand require any financial institution to furnish within a time specified in the notice the bank account information of that person, if any, for the purpose of making an application to court for a garnishee order. I know by now you must be wondering what the heck is a garnishee order, right? Well, allow me to simplify it to you with this example. Well, let's just assume you are making good profits from your business, foreign source income and whatsoever, and you under declare your taxable income, which amounts to 100,000 ringgit of unpaid tax. Now, for some reason, LHDN detected that you are spending above your declared income and decided to audit you, and they found out that you actually owe the Malaysian government 100,000 ringgit worth of tax. So in order for LHDN as the judgment creditor to recover that 100,000 ringgit from you as the judgment debtor, they have to send you a lawyer letter and bring you to face the judge for civil proceedings. And assuming they won the case because you couldn't provide sufficient supporting documents proving your income source, then according to this new Section 106A, LHDN can obtain additional bank information from your bank without your consent for the purpose of instigating a garnishing proceeding, which is the legal term of forcing you to pay the 100,000 ringgit through a garnishee order. Now, I hope you get the entire picture. Contrary to the public's understanding, this entire process is actually done with your knowledge, because you would have been notified of the civil proceedings and etc. for committing tax evasion, right? So you actually know that LHDN is actively probing you. And if you are wondering why the law states that the financial institution shall not disclose to any person that such request was made to the financial institution, well, according to the Finance Deputy Minister, he said that this new provision is required to ensure smooth garnishee proceedings. And he also said that if banks were to inform their account holders of potential garnishee proceedings, there is a possibility that the debtors will remove all of their monies from the bank, and this would ensure that the garnishee procedure cannot be carried. Hence the rationale behind introducing the amendment. To me, I would give him the benefit of doubt because it does make some sense over here. If anyone can just simply withdraw money out of their bank accounts to avoid paying tax, then it would just waste everyone's time and the garnishing proceedings would be made useless, right? Now, allow me to share with you my personal, unqualified, non-professional opinion as to how this new Section 106A would affect us, you and I, for the coming days. Firstly, I can see that this new tax law will allow our government to recover or at least attempt to recover a substantial amount of money as a result of tax evasion. And according to this article published by Focus Malaysia, it has been estimated that tax evasion emanating from Malaysia's shadow economy is worth a whopping 300 billion ringgit annually. The estimate is close to 18% of the country's GDP. I know this is probably controversial, as I totally understand that not every one of us are happy or satisfied with how the government is utilizing our tax money. I totally get it, but I think that shouldn't be mixed with how the country or the tax law should be run, because a strong set of tax law is still crucial to ensure that the country can continue to grow its economy. However, the bigger question I would ask here is, will this new tax law opens the floodgate towards more possibilities for the tax authority to introduce more stringent tax laws in the future that could potentially probe into our investment accounts, capital gains, or whatsoever? Sometimes new laws can be insignificant in the short term, and in this case, the Section 106A only covers financial institutions, which is defined as banks that includes Islamic banks and development financial institutions. The new power granted does not extend to investment accounts with asset managers, fund managers, and life insurers. But let's just make a wild yet educated guess here. If tax authority can now use legal rights to access your bank information without your consent, of course with civil proceedings, blah blah blah, what stops them from taking that one step further to intervene with your offshore bank accounts, your investment accounts, your crypto trading account, and etc. I hope you see where I'm leading towards. In the short term, yes, it is probably insignificant to all of us, but whether or not this right will be abused or expanded into new rights that can be detrimental to our future money, that in my opinion is the bigger question we have to ask right here. And in contrary to what you may believe, I think that this new tax law would most likely affect commoners like me and you, as opposed to high net worth individuals or the rich people, because people of that class already knew how to avoid tax, be it through offshore shell companies, donations, asset-based lendings, all of which are common tax evasion tactics practiced by the rich all over the world. Just Google it and you will know what I mean. Anyways, I don't want to sound too negative. I actually think this new tax law is pretty insignificant in the short term, all things considered. If you have paid all your taxes accordingly, then technically yes, you should not have anything to worry about. What I'm trying to do here is merely summarizing all the articles, official gazettes, and laws so that you can easily understand the entire picture of what's happening in our country now and potentially in the future within a few minutes. So all said and done, what do you think about this new tax law? Do you think this is a step forward for our nation? Or is this something that could potentially come back and bite us in the future? Why don't you let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, that is all from me now. If you found some value from this video, smack the like button down below. That would greatly help me to create better content for you guys in the future. As always, I will put all of the links to the useful articles and laws for you to read in the description box down below, so do remember to check it out. The usual disclaimer applies. I am not a qualified tax, accounting, or legal professional. Whatever I've said in this video reflects my personal opinion only, so please seek for advice from a qualified professional whenever necessary. Okay, with that said, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay invested, and as usual, I will see you in the next one.